Out of all the songs written about by curious mermaid sea creatures that only make themselves available to pedal manufacturing companies, I think our song Julianna is definitely in the top 3. So today we're going to go through just kind of how I made it, talk a little bit about the inspiration for it, and then just play some music, right? So we've got the D'Angelico Mini DC, and I'm running it through the Julianna stereo chorus vibrato whatever pedal. Sounds great, really cool. You get these cool wobbly underwater vibes, right? Wait, first, here's my clean tone, everybody. Just going into the Fender Deluxe 65, turn it on, instantly, there it is, okay? So if you don't know anything about chorus pedals, basically, or vibrato pedals, a pedal like this, you have a rate knob, which is basically how fast that kind of wavy sound goes, right? You can tap that in. It's pretty fast, you know what I mean? Or you can just kind of mess with the knob. Now what we actually took something, and I'll show you in the Logic project in a second, and I just tapped the tempo into the tempo that we decided for the song, alright? Now, I just think this pedal sounds really great. It does a lot of different interesting things. I think my favorite thing about it is the ramping of it. You can have 2 LFOs. An LFO is basically just the time it takes a low frequency oscillator. This is basically how fast the thing is blinking. That's all an LFO is, right? It can control a bunch of different parameters. If you get into synths and stuff, you learn a lot about LFOs. But basically, that's the LFO, right? That's the interval at which something is occurring. You can actually have a couple different LFOs do this, right? So what you can do is, like, maybe I want it to go a little bit faster. I can hold this bypass switch, move it up to a faster rate, and then it's the same thing, but if I hold that tap button, it ramps up. So you kind of get these really cool things. Another thing about this is the different types of waveforms, right? So it's just like a basic kind of up and down one. It added a randomizer for this pedal. So it's kind of doing different things at the same time. The LFO is changing, right? And that's basically a big part of this song that we did. So the chords are really easy. B flat major 7, D minor 7. We have like a C, and then G minor 6, okay? And you can kind of hear a lot of the wobble part of it. But I actually recorded myself during the actual tracking of the song, so I'm going to go there because it kind of illustrates the stereo capabilities for a couple different amps. Alright, so I'm going to track this in stereo because it's an incredible stereo chorus pedal. So I thought I'd have one side going to the Fender Deluxe reissue, one side going to the Mesa. They're both on clean, and really I just have I have the effect dimed out all the way. I have this on the randomized shape, so it's kind of like unpredictable, watery, to kind of fit the vibe of the song. And we're just going to track the outline of the chords to build everything else around. Alright, so now I have the project open, and basically it's really not a lot of tracks. It is the drum track that I made, right? If you watched the electronic drum kit video I posted the other day, you'll see that I really just triggered the Native Instruments battery apnea kit with the actual electronic kit. So there's really nothing else going on there, except I have it slightly EQ'd with the FabFilter Pro-Q3, which I put on absolutely every track now because you can kind of see where different tracks are kind of getting in each other's way, right? So really, not a lot of tracks. I've got the drum kit, which is essentially broken down into 3 tracks. I've got the guitar stems, which honestly, as you've heard before, this is just the Mesa on the left, and the Fender on the right. And then there's a compressor on there to kind of even out the attack of me just hitting the chords, just to kind of make it a little more level. That's it for that. And then like I have the analog cymbals because, again, like I showed in the other video, I just played the cymbals with brushes to kind of add an analog vibe to the electronic kit. And then we really just have just kind of vocals and bass and stuff like that. I want to shout out this bass that I use real quick because it's just okay, so this is the Arturia Mini V3 synth bass plugin, and I think it's just one of the best sounding vintage synth wavy type basses that really I think fits well in something like this, right? So after that, we can talk a little bit about Drea's vocals. Not a lot going on.
The moonlight shines a message through a letter tight in ocean blue. I curse the tides, but they were true. Your love away from me.
Honestly, it's just going through the Universal Audio 6176 and then into the Native Instruments RC48 reverb, which I think really kind of adds a lot of atmosphere to it, and quite a lot of reverb compared to how I usually do stuff because we were doing like an underwater-ish vibe. Drea was also playing some arpeggios on my Prophet, which is just kind of always going on in the background. I think this is just a B flat major 7 or F major 7 arpeggio just going on in there. That's pulled up, right? But yeah, this is kind of like in the background to kind of add a vibe. That's going through the entire track. The volume's automated to be louder at the beginning and stuff like that. But really, the lo-fi-ness of it, a lot of it comes from the pedal, for sure, because that's kind of, you know, we set the whole vibe around that. But any person who ever has made lo-fi music knows that a lot of it is this RC20 retro color plugin that, you know, if you're not using on your lo-fi music, you probably aren't actually doing a good job. Because it just had so much. Here's without it. And then with it. Without. It has just a little kind of wobble to the entire thing, and you can dial it in to taste. And then it has also kind of like a slight vinyl noise. We can really crank that way up. I think around between 10 and 15% you can still kind of hear it, but it's not overwhelming the entire production, which I think there's a tendency to do sometimes. But yeah, that's on the entire track and not any individual stuff. Somebody on Instagram asked me how I got the guitar solo sound. a lot of those are pedals, okay? Let me bring that back down. It's really, that's just the whole Walrus thing. It's the Julianna pedal, for sure. And then it's also the ARP87 delay and the slow reverb pedal. And I just got really a great sound in the room. But I think what makes it is this filter that I put it on. I think filters are something that a lot of people, you know, maybe when they're first starting out, don't use enough. And it's essentially just like a filter that you'll find on a synth, but you can put anything through it. So, for example, here, this is just Arturia Filter M12 is what it's called. And here, I'll play it with and without. So, again, this is without. You can hear the low fineness from the Julianna pedal. But then with it, you can hear a frequency sweep that's kind of automated into it, right? Right, so you can kind of see the envelope of that going down. And that's without it, right? So I think having a filter on it just kind of adds like a little bit of movement to it, and then with the track. Right? So, I think it sounds pretty good. The other thing is we have some kind of background noises and stuff going on every now and then. For instance, this right here. So I guess some kind of like ambiance, some ambient type stuff. Basically, all that is Andrea's scratch vocal that we recorded at the very beginning, just because I had it on here. And then I just threw it through 3 different reverbs full on, so you can't even really distinguish like the attack of the notes, but it's still like the tone that's there. And then through that same filter M12 with a delay on it. So it's just kind of like a way that you can use any kind of sound source and get creative with plugins and stuff to make it sound pretty cool. So again, I think it came together really well. It's, you know, a minimal type production, 14 total tracks, which I think is pretty small for stuff, especially when a lot of them, the guitars and the drums and stuff, were stereo tracked anyway. And yeah, it came together pretty quick. I like how it sounds, and yeah, it seems like people seem to like it. So definitely show it some love, share it, stream it on whatever. And shout out to Walrus for sending me that pedal and kind of inspiring the whole thing. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.